what we really want to cover in 2026 is faith, finance, and fitness. Those are like the markers for, I think, a successful year. This is going to be our best year yet.
We want to talk about things that we want to improve in 2026, kind of give you guys some tips, but also just review, like, where did we go wrong last year? 2025, not my best year.
We are doing like our own version of 75 Hard.
Oh my God, I'm like so scared to do this, to
which
be honest.
is, you sure you want to still be with me?
What is up, everybody, and welcome back to your favorite podcast.
The
number one
podcast in the world.
More like just in our brains.
Yeah, in our small brains.
You know what I just realized, babe? I'm not wearing my wedding band today.
Neither am I.
Guys, promise we're married.
I'm not wearing mine either.
I just got ready really fast and never put it on.
Do you want to get married?
Let's get married again.
Okay.
Let's renew our vows right now.
Did you know I read something recently that said couples who renew their vows are most likely to get divorced?
More likely to get divorced?
Most likely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe they're
more about the appearance of it.
I feel like the renewal of the vows is like you're renewing for a reason. So there was already...
Oh, there was some
It might be a bad study because maybe just the pool of people who are most likely to renew their vows are people who, you know, there was...
Well, I feel like sometimes if you renew your vows, you've been through some shishi together.
Yeah.
You think so?
But anyway, yeah, that's beside...
Anyway, you want to renew our vows?
Maybe next year.
Anyway, welcome back to the podcast, you guys. Happy 2026.
Today's the year.
Cannot believe it.
Today's the year. This is the year.
Is it?
I said today's the year.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
Made no sense.
0 sense, sir.
But this is the year where faith, finances, and fitness, this is going to be our best year yet.
You think so?
Yeah, we're leveling up.
We've had some good years.
We've had some great years.
I will say 2025, not my best year.
Yeah, it was
like greatest accomplishment was having a baby. But I feel like in other aspects, not my greatest year.
I think you're a little hard on yourself. I think
so too.
From a business place, you did very well. From, content, you grew.
That's true.
Hundreds, 100,000.
I think I grew like 100,000 followers on Instagram, which was like unheard of for me personally.
But I think from a faith and fitness standpoint, both of us went kind of downhill.
No, even just like goals wise, it just...
The baby,
the baby,
it's all Duke's fault, really.
No, Duke is my greatest accomplishment, but it absolutely changed my life. So in today's episode, we want to talk about things that we want to improve in 2026, kind of give you guys some tips, but also just kind of review, like, where did we go wrong last year? We did do a year in review in the last episode, kind of going through our entire year and just really giving some honest, vulnerable thoughts on that year. And we did have a lot of tips in there as well. But we kind of want to go more into like this year, review previous goals, and kind of what do we want to do this year and what do we want to work on this year.
So basically this podcast is going to be, if you're married, you're in a relationship, you sit down and you write out your goals for 2026. I think what we really want to cover in 2026 is faith, finance, and fitness. I think those three things are like the markers for, I think, a successful year. Because usually if your finances are off, a lot of times that will bleed into your fitness. A lot of times that will bleed into your faith. And so I think those are the three things that we need to sit down in this podcast and talk through each of those things of how we're going to improve, where we went wrong this year.
So my favorite thing around this time of the year is to just sit. And I honestly, y'all, I haven't really had time to do this quite yet, but we're going to Nashville. Probably as you're watching this, we'll be in Nashville. But I really want to use this time to dream about the next year or 2026. My favorite thing to do is pray about a word over the year. And one word that I actually feel like I kind of feel like the Lord spoke to me was during church was the word do. And not do like be more busy, do more, be a hustler, but do the word of God. That's like when we listened to the sermon the other day, it was like James 1 or 2. And it was talking about don't just be a hearer of the word, but be a doer of the word. And I think that's a word I want to pray a little bit more about. But I think I want it to be a doer of the word.
Just do it.
Just do it, like Nike said.
Yeah. Okay, let's start with faith first. Like, what are our faith goals for 2026? And I think that can be an interesting even question. What are our faith goals? Like, that's kind of a broad question. I think it's important to look at where we went wrong in 2025 and how we're going to improve it and how we're going to deepen our relationship with God
Yeah.
in 2026. And because I felt like, for me personally, I felt like I looked up and a month would go by and I'm like, man, I know I believe in God,
Mhm.
but sometimes I don't act as if I believe in God.
Interesting.
Like, if I truly believed in God, you think I'd be with him more. You think I'd talk to him more. You think I would, sometimes I limit him. I don't pray about certain things that I think, I'm like, God would think that's stupid. I think, why would God answer that prayer? He has bigger, better things to do. So yeah, I feel like I got kind of numb in 2025.
I think one place that we went wrong, and it's not totally our fault, is we never plugged into a church this year. I think to fully feel connected to the Lord, you want to be plugged in, you want to be discipled, and you want to be discipling. And I feel like we didn't do any of those because we moved, because we tried out literally 5 different churches.
Well, we didn't go to a church for the first 2 months because of Duke.
Right. And then we traveled, and then law school, and then we literally tried 5 churches. I think we finally found the church. I'm super, super excited. And I think that's one of my number one goals. I actually had that on my previous goals for last year, and it just didn't happen. And so I think because we just didn't have the right church that felt like it was a good fit for us, we just never fully went in. And I think that definitely stagnated our growth. And I really don't want to blame everything on motherhood, but truly motherhood changed my life. I mean, changed my life in an amazing way, but also like it changed my own rhythms and the things I was able to do and my routines. Like I got totally whacked out of a routine. And so motherhood just completely threw a curveball in me this last year. And I want to figure out, how do I kind of go back to routine still somehow?
So what is because it's easy to go, I want to be closer to God. I want to.
Yeah, you have to be specific.
What does that look like? And I think for me, that my personal goal, I think I have a personal goal with our marriage, I have a marriage goal, then I have a personal goal with myself. And I think you and I did a semi-decent job of our personal relationships with the Lord in 2025. But I think we did a really bad job praying over our marriage, really being connected together in devotion and in worship, and finding these moments to really, really be with the Lord together. And,
I agree.
And I think for our marriage, I think we need to have a goal. I think it's unrealistic to say we're going to read the Bible together every single night the entire year. It's just some nights I'm up till midnight studying. I get into bed and you're
tired,
asleep. So we need to say, okay, 2 times a week, we know that you and I sit in the living room. We don't sit in bed, because we sit in bed, other things happen. You know what I mean? I'm kidding. But it's a Christian podcast. I get it. I understand. But this is, anyway, I'll continue. We need to be in the living room, because I think, on the weekend or one of the mornings before I go to school, we need to sit down and worship and in the Bible together, praying over our marriage, asking God what he can change about this week. I read something recently that said, wake up every morning, write down 3 things that you can do better today. And I think those are some of the things that we need to do as a marriage. What are the ways we're not serving each other? What are the ways you feel like you're not showing up for me? What are ways that I can love you better? And I think that will remove obstacles and it will remove potential fights or potential arguments, because we can get ahead of it. Yeah. Versus a random explosion where you just finally have enough. You're like, you never do this, you never do that. It's like we could have gotten ahead of it because we sat down together twice a week and talked about ways we can serve each other better. Yeah, I mean, it's so funny. I feel like oftentimes we know what is the right thing to do. We just don't do it. We don't implement it, because I love at the beginning of the year, researching how to make obtainable goals. And there's this whole system called SMART goals, where it has to be basically timely. You have to make it measurable. It has to be attainable. It has to be very specific. And so we can't just say we want to pray together more. When you make a goal, it has to be, okay, when are you doing it? Where are you doing it? How often are you doing that? And so that's where I think we didn't do that this past year. And even though I might have written I'm going to do all these goals, again, having a baby, just all the goals just went
Like all of it kind of got just thrown around. And so I think we want to make sure that when we make a goal, it's realistic and attainable, and we're actually following up on those and holding each other accountable. Because I think what something is very important for us to do is every single month, at the beginning of the month, going and reviewing the last month and saying, okay, what are we going to do better this month? And like doing that as a couple.
Yeah, it's so true. And I'm convicted because you and I are so good for the most part. When we set fitness goals, we usually meet them, like the marathons and everything. But it is weird when you set faith goals. It's weird how you can get to March and April and go, we'll circle back at the end of the year. And it's like, I think that's what we need to do better this year is if we get off in February, we mess up in March, we don't just sabotage the whole year. We get back to our goals. So I think that's important that we write it down somewhere where each week we're reminding ourselves, no, I said I was going to do this year. Because we get super hyped on January 1st, these new goals, you're excited. But man, February, March hits, you lose that adrenaline. And so I think, so for me, I think twice a week we sit down in the living room. It's either Bible time, it's prayer time, or it's time in worship. Twice a week. What is a goal that you have for us?
Well, can I just talk about the faith aspect as well? So as you guys know, on my Instagram, I do these monthly Bible challenges, and I love them because it gives you guys a book to read. But the problem with these Bible challenges is, and I'm going to be honest, is sometimes you're just reading. You're just reading and you just zoom through it. You never attain it. You never fully retain it, study it, really break it down. Because when you're studying scripture, it takes so much more time and slowness to really fully comprehend and break down and study. One chapter you could technically be studying for an entire month if you really broke it down. And so I think the danger with the Bible challenges is like I read the Bible almost every single day. Definitely there were some days I missed 100%. But I would read and be like, you know what? Check, read my book. But I didn't really dissect the scripture. And I feel like that's something I really miss. And so as much as I love the Bible challenges, a lot of people still ask me to do them, and I love giving you guys something to do. That's kind of the problem with them is I feel like I would read, but I wouldn't really just sit there and meditate and be like, Lord, show me, teach me. And I think that's something I really want to get back to is because you can't just hurry through the Bible just to check a box. Like it really has to be meditating on the scripture and asking the Lord, like, show me, Lord, what this is about and understanding it and then applying it. And so I think that's something I really want to improve this year is not just hurrying through scripture just to check a box.
Okay, so what does that look like then? Like, what does that look like?
Yeah.
I think one of the questions, I can't remember if you answered it. So what does that look like for, okay, I said we're going to do it twice a week in the living room together as a married couple. What you just said, tangibly or not tangibly?
I think that's maybe that's for me like a personal goal is, getting some sort of commentary to read through along with the book and pairing that and not rushing through it, But okay. I see what you're saying.
Specifically, you say, okay, I want to read the Bible deeper.
Yeah.
How and how often and
yeah, I mean,
because it's not realistic to say I'm going to dissect the Bible every time I read it.
100%, and that's a lot of time as well. I don't know. I don't exactly know what that looks like. Is that like an every Sunday night kind of thing I go through? And that's where I think I still want to go through my goals and really reflect and pray through that. But I just know I want to study scripture more.
So what's a married goal that you have for us spiritually?
Get plugged in a church and get in a small group and serve. I think that is something I want us to do. At least serve once a month at the church. I think that's our marriage goal. This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. So you guys, it is January, and I know a lot of us feel the pressure to create a brand new me right now, but honestly, I've learned that the new year does not require a new you, maybe just a less burden you. For me, I've been working on letting go of perfectionism and the constant pressure to have everything figured out, which I know is hard, but it's wild how much lighter life feels when you stop carrying things that you were not meant to carry. And that is where therapy has made such a difference. Having someone completely unbiased help me understand what's weighing me down, patterns, relationships, motivations. It has been huge. That is why I love BetterHelp. Their therapists follow a strict code of conduct. They are fully licensed in the US, so you're getting real support. Plus, they make the matching process so easy. You take a quick questionnaire And with their 12 plus years of experience, they usually get the match right on the first time. But if it's not a fit, you can swap therapists at any time. And honestly, the reviews speak for themselves. Over 30,000 therapists, more than 5 million people served worldwide, and an incredible rating of 4.9 out of 5 for over 1.7 million live session reviews. That is incredible. BetterHelp makes it easy to get matched online with a qualified therapist. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/happyhealthy. That's betterhelp.com/happyhealthy.
I think it's easy as a married couple to say, we want to do this. We're going to go on a mission trip. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. It's like, man, if you're not even already in the word together consistently, you're not plugged into a church. It's like, we need to start there. And then, maybe we can do some other things. So I think that's good. I think
that's going to grow us a ton.
Twice a week. That might not seem like a lot to you guys. Maybe you're saying twice a week. Me and my husband,
we do this every night.
We do this every night before bed. Listen, I know I talk about law school a lot, but there's 4 nights out of the week where I don't see Janine, maybe for 30 minutes to an hour before bed. And those are times where, I'll be honest, selfishly, I want to talk with my wife. I want to sit down and ask you how your day was. And so I don't know if it's realistic to say every single night that you and I are going to read through the Old Testament.
Well, also, I recommend this book every single time at the beginning of the year. It's Atomic Habits by James Clear. He, again, talks about making it so small that you can actually do it. Because so many people, they do this grandiose plan where they're like, I'm going to run a mile every single day for the next 2 months. And maybe you've never ran a mile in your life. It's like, okay, maybe let's dial back. Let's work up to that. Start very small. Maybe you want to just walk 2 times a week. And then you keep adding and adding and adding until you master the 2 times a week. And so that's what we're saying. And James Clear would probably back us up on that as well. So making sure it's realistic.
So, good. Shake hands on it. It's a deal.
Oh.
So what's our punishment if we don't do it? We have
to cold plunge? I don't know.
We have to go.
We need to think about that.
You know what we have to do? In the middle of the service, we have to stand up and say, Pastor, we failed our New Year's resolution, and sit back down.
No way.
Could you imagine?
He'd be like, hey, sit down. I don't know who you are.
Okay, let's go into finances, because I think finances are a clear, excuse me. I think finances are a clear representation of how you steward your faith, how you steward your wealth, how you steward a lot of different things. And so,
yeah.
We were horrible this year on budgeting, we
ate out way too much.
Oh my gosh.
We just were tired. We were lazy. We didn't want to cook. Yeah, 100%.
I have a confession.
What? I'm scared.
My entire first semester of law school, I brought my lunch twice.
That's so bad.
I either skipped lunch 90% of the time, or I would grab lunch somewhere.
Okay.
And I would get a snack. So I spent way too much money. Yeah. And also, it's just not good for you. And so I think budgeting, and even just saying, okay, this is what is there and this is what we can spend. But I think this is so important. Like, imagine Sundays, instead of watching Netflix, you and I cook together. Like, how much better.
We continue to plan out meals and say, okay, Tuesday night we're eating this, Wednesday night we're eating this. Like, I really want to get into meal planning, especially when we have kids. When we have kids, we have kids. The more kids we have.
I'm like, what? When we have kids?
Duke is like, am I chopped liver over here? The more kids we have, the more we're going to have to plan those meals out. And so I think limiting to like, hey, let's eat out 2 times a week max,
Yeah. You and I are big, let's go to dinner people. Like, let's go to dinner. You want to go to dinner?
The thing is, we just both get home, or like we're both like after a long day, we're like, oh, the last thing I want to do is cook.
It's so nice.
But it's not good. It's not a good habit.
And I think that's where 75 Hard is going to help, because we are doing like our own version of 75 Hard.
Oh my God. I'm like so scared to do this,
to be honest. Which is no alcohol, no pop, no chips. But
we are trying 75 like medium or soft or something.
Yeah.
But we want to add in our own spiritual goals in there as well.
Okay, so regarding eating out, because I would say 90% of people listening to this eating out's their number one expense.
Yeah, comment below if that is the same thing for you.
I think if you add up breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we ate out one of those meals every single day that whole semester.
No way. Not for me, no. I was at home so much. I cooked a lot at home.
But what I'm saying is if we didn't eat out for breakfast, we ate out for lunch. If we didn't eat out for lunch, maybe we ate out for dinner that day. I'm saying one of those meals was at least
every single day?
I can look at the charges.
Maybe you, but not me, because I was home with Duke every single day. I would say I ate out pretty frequently, but not every single day.
I don't believe you.
I do, y'all. I could literally go back and look at. I can look at my footage and look back.
There was very rarely a day where if you didn't eat out for breakfast, you definitely got something to go for lunch.
No. I promise you, no.
Okay.
Lunch was the one thing I ate at the house the most consistently. Breakfast and lunch. Dinner is where I failed.
So, okay, that's my point.
But I'm not, I still didn't do that every single day, though. I'm just saying.
That's why I said not all the time, but most. So,
Yeah.
okay, so what's a realistic goal that we can make when it comes to eating out this year? Because I have some things I'm thinking.
I mean, I still think we should try to do eating out only max. Here's the problem though. The weekend rolls around and you and I want to go out to eat Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So that means we can't eat out at all during the week.
So we got to set a goal.
What's the goal? You want to do this for the entire year?
Yes. I'm asking you.
See, here's my thing again. Caleb wants to set these like big goals. And in my mind, I'm just trying to be realistic. I just know that we're not going to do this.
We got to get something on the calendar. See, this is the issue because you're already setting us up for failure because you're not even trying.
No, I will try, but
so
I just know that
if we set a...
Usually people do that like January, February, and then they fall off.
But that's the thing is we set a high goal, and if we don't meet the high goal, we're at least still better than we were.
So then we'll adjust it?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what do you think is a realistic goal for eating out?
3 times a week?
3 times?
Max
3 times a week. I think it's an important distinction because eating Qdoba or going to McDonald's isn't the same thing as going to a nice restaurant. Going to a nice restaurant nowadays, you're going to spend $200, on a drink, an appetizer, and, food. And so I think because you and I do need date night, like date night is our favorite thing in the world. So I think once a week we have a date night. We go to a restaurant.
Okay.
And that's, the $100 to $200, date night type dinner. And then I think the Qdobas of the world, the takeout at Thai food or something like that, I think we need to limit that to once a week as well.
Okay.
So I think...
So what are you going to do about law school food?
I think I need a prep.
Are you actually going to do it though?
I'll have to if we set a goal.
How are you?
Because then I have to come on the podcast and tell you guys I failed, and I don't want to do that.
I mean, the thing is, we might.
Yeah.
And we just got to refix them.
Yeah. There's going to be some points where one time I dropped my lunch and I had to go pick up something.
Yeah.
So I think once a week we can get Qdoba or Chick-fil-A or something, and then once a week we can go on a date night.
Wow.
Because
that's just very different than what we do right now. But
yeah. But
it'd be better for us.
We would do a date night on Thursday night. We'd go on a date night, on Friday night.
So you know that Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night,
we got to choose our date night.
So what if a friend says, "Hey, we want to get dinner with you," and then we already did our date night that week?
Well, then it's not a date night; it's a double date night.
No, what if we want to have a date night and then someone's like,
"Okay,
hey, Saturday rolls around, like, hey, we want to go do dinner with you guys, and we've already done our date night of the week."
Okay, here's the distinction: is if we get asked to go on a double date, that will be its own box, where.
You're going to be trying to go on a lot of double dates.
No, we'll say Qdoba or the fast
Chick-fil-A.
food Chick-fil-A once a week, date night once a week. And if we get asked to go on a double date night, we'll go. Does
that include buying coffee? Because you and I love to buy coffee. Honestly, it's kind of great. I prefer my coffee at home, which I'm so thankful for. But when you're out and about and you need that pick-me-up, oof.
Okay, here's a good coffee goal. We make our own coffee at home because we have a great coffee machine.
Mm-hmm.
But we can get a coffee from a coffee shop twice a week.
Okay. We need to write all these down afterwards.
Yeah.
So we remember.
So twice a week for coffee, And guys, you might seem that's still a lot. I got a coffee every single day the entire semester. So twice a week would be a big change.
Yeah.
This is already going to be really good for our budget. So again, to if you guys want to piggyback off our goals, once a week date night, once a week we can go to fast food, twice a week we can get a coffee. Shake on it?
Well, I mean, when we travel, that's off the table, right?
When we travel,
you have to eat out.
When we travel, it's off the table. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's budgeting. Is also, I think, like I said, a big expense that we had this past year was
shopping,
our house,
shopping,
and buying furniture,
shopping,
and all of that.
Clothes shopping.
I really did not buy clothes that much this year. I promise you. No, a lot of it was for Duke.
True. You spent more money on clothes this year than you did the year before.
I don't think so. Promise you.
Really?
I think I spent the least this year because I was pregnant and I was in sweats a lot of the time.
So the
and I didn't have nice events to go to really this year. The purchases were Duke and the house.
Furniture.
Like truly. But here's where I'm proud of myself. I really got into thrifting Facebook Marketplace this past year, and it really did save us a lot of money. And Amazon and stuff. So I feel like I could have spent a lot more and I didn't. But we did have to obviously spend quite a bit because we bought a new house.
Yeah. So what are we, what are you going to do differently? Because I don't really shop that much.
I still feel like, I don't know. Honestly, I wouldn't really change that much in the way that I do that because I'm not a big overspender on furniture already.
And you make content about it.
Yeah.
Too.
And you've already seen, like, I really don't blow money on furniture. I really always try to find deals, wait till it goes on sale. You know what's a great hack is doing Google reverse image search, and you find a piece of furniture and maybe it's like $1,000 on one website. You put it in there, Google will show you where to get it cheaper somewhere else. It might be $400 somewhere else. Take advantage of that because that's what I did this past year, and it was a game changer.
Okay. So it sounds like you don't want to change anything.
Yeah, I don't think I think I'm still doing a pretty good job on that. I'm pretty proud of myself.
I think Amazon is where you need to get better.
Amazon is definitely.
You'd be dropping
But again, it's hard because a lot of
Amazon guy lives at our house.
It's buying stuff for the house, Duke, refills. It's hard. It's like a lot of that is just refills of, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you pray on that.
I'll pray about that one a little bit more.
I think giving, that's a big thing that we need to definitely do a better job on this year, making sure we find, because this is where I do struggle with the idea of I think tithing is very biblical, but I don't think that 10%, 10% might be too little, might be too much. I don't think 10% is something that like God, it's like a sin if you don't tithe 10%. I would like to find areas where outside of our tithe that we're giving to missions or giving to missionaries and people in need or random acts of kindness with people.
I feel like we did do quite a bit of that this past year, and I'm really thankful. Like we had a friend of ours is struggling with cancer, so we helped, contribute to medical bills. I recently hosted an event here in Oklahoma, which so excited. It was called Gals Gospel and Giving. And I gave a big chunk of the proceeds to a single mom's charity here in Oklahoma.
But here's a question. Do you think talking about our giving and what we gave do you think that's wrong?
I don't know. I think sometimes I've even seen people talk about this online where influencers can sometimes be like, guys, trust me, I'm giving. Then they're like, but we don't know. So it's like, you don't want to do it. So you're like, guys, look, I'm so cool. Because that's why I really don't post about it. But I also think it's helpful for people to know that like, hey, we are trying to help give back to the body of Christ. So I'm not really sure. I think it's the way you do it, maybe.
Yeah. It is like, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing.
Yeah.
So that's the other thing.
But it's hard because sometimes like when I do see people, raise charity or help someone on the side of the road, it inspires me to be like, oh, I really want to do that too. And so I don't know. I think it's just the intentions.
I think there's this misconception with people where you think, oh, I have to have a lot of money to give. And for us, and we, I don't think we've talked about this, but some of our friends they're about to have a baby and we gave them one of our couches. And this couch we could have resold this couch for definitely a good amount of money. And it was a really nice couch. And we gave it to them. We were like, it was free and it blessed them so much. And that didn't didn't cost us any money to give that to him. I mean, it costs us in the standpoint we couldn't sell it. But I think if you're somebody out there who has a couch, you have something that could bless somebody. I think those are ways where a lot of times it doesn't have to be money. It could be your time. It could be your resources. And so
helping someone like set up their baby nursery, helping them decorate their baby nursery, or like if a friend has a baby, cooking them a meal, stuff like that. And I think also, like if you don't feel like you have a lot of money to give, sometimes it could be really small, like buying your friend a cup of coffee. Like maybe they're going to go check out and you're like, no, I got it. Like I think that was something I'm really proud of us that you specifically did a lot this year was we offered to pay for people's meals. And I feel like that was really cool where sometimes people would be like, no, please don't. And we were like, no, we got it. I think that's just kind of like a fun way to just bless somebody if you can. But even if you can't do that, just being like, hey, I got your coffee today. And I think people really just appreciate that. And it might brighten someone's day. I don't know. So
yeah. Okay. Any other thing with finances? I mean,
honestly, I'll say I've struggled with the finance aspect because I don't really know how to budget that well. I feel like that's like always been your role is Kaleb manages our finances and I'm super thankful for that. I'm just not really good at that type of stuff, you know?
I think
I'm not a numbers girl, so that's why.
The biggest goal I have for us this year is to spend less and invest more.
Yeah.
So the money that we would have spent otherwise, let's just invest that into some of our accounts. And I think that will be, I think a lot of people don't think about their retirement. A lot of people don't think about their future. You're not going to probably work forever. And so those are the things that I think are just super, super important. And okay. And then also last thing I'll say on the finance part, I think in the last podcast we shouted out Connor Combs Capital, which is our financial advisor.
He's amazing.
And I think one of our listeners actually emailed him. And so if you're a person who is putting that off, I promise you, I'm a person who has somewhat of a financial literacy. Like I understand finances.
You understand the stocks, and
my dad, owns a financial type of company. He's been in that world for a long time. He's an attorney, and so I've grown up in that industry. I understand it. So even I need help. I don't understand it all. You need somebody who is going to help no matter how much money you have. I'm such a believer in if you do it by yourself, you will not ever do it because you don't want to invest the money because it's hard to take the money out of your savings. B, you'll sell the stock to go buy something. You need to have someone else manage it who just you just throw the money away and you don't look at it and you look up at 20 years and it's done really well. And so highly, highly, highly recommend a financial advisor. You can hit up Combs Capital. We should just drop it in the
it'll be in the show notes.
It will be in the notes. So
finances, I feel like it's something like, obviously I know all like the terminology, but I don't feel like I know, like, what, when you did investing, like you knew which markets to pick. I don't know anything about that. Like,
honestly, I know somewhat of the stocks to pick and different things in the S&P 500 but to be honest with you, I still didn't know that much. And that's why it's so important to have somebody who knows more than you.
Right. I think something in finances that can be very dangerous for women, and I've seen women talk about this, is sometimes they just don't know what's going on in their finances at all. Like we still talk about it. And I know I look at the bank accounts, I look at the statements, all that stuff. But sometimes they're just like, my husband's got it. I don't know anything. And I think that could be actually kind of dangerous. So if you're married, I think it's important that you and your husband both know what's going on.
Yeah.
And sometimes you don't know the lingo and the verbiage, whatever. But I feel like just still at least knowing what's going on versus just your husband dealing with everything can be a little dangerous.
Well, there's some marriages too where the woman handles it all.
That's true.
And I think it's so important that both couples, they know what's going on. You know where your money's going to. You know you're both involved into the retirement.
Yeah.
You're both involved into the sacrifices that you're making. You're a team.
Well, for example,
if I died, you would need to know a lot of this stuff.
Don't say that. It's so sad. But like, for example, I was going through our bank statements because I think it's important to make sure you check your bank statements. And I found literally 10 charges from audible.com on my account. And I'm like, did you make these? And he's like, no, not me. And I found out my sister was accidentally using my credit card on our Amazon account. I had no idea. And so it's like so important to just not close your eyes and be like, oh, whatever, it's fine. rip off the Band-Aid, open the hood of the car, and look in there and be like, okay, we've got to fix some things. Otherwise, you could be blowing money or someone could have stolen your credit card. You have no idea. I don't know. And you just are losing money. So I think it's important to do that.
Yeah. And regarding your sister, complete accident.
Yeah, it was an accident. She was like, I'm so sorry. I had no idea I was doing that.
Yeah. And you don't even, you might be getting charged for something that which reminds me, we need to call T-Mobile. But yeah.
Speaking of opening the hood.
It's so important. The finances thing, people are so apprehensive to pay off the debt. They're so apprehensive to invest the money, or they're so like, you don't realize if you have $10,000 in your bank account, you will spend it.
Yeah.
If you have $10,000, and again, this is not financial advice, so don't listen to me, but if you have $10,000 in your bank account and your bills are around $3,000 to $4,000 a month, well, you need to take 20-30% of that and put it away, because you will find a reason to spend it.
Yeah. The thing is, if you see that $10,000 in your account, there's something subconsciously where you're like, oh, I'm good. I got money. You need to almost pretend, oh, I only have $2,000 in my account. And pretend the rest of the $8,000 is not yours. You're not using it. It is not up for grabs.
Well, you're at a restaurant and you see the bill, it's $300. And you know in the back of your head, I got $10K. Versus if you invested $7,000 of that $10,000, now you have $3,000.
Yeah.
But really, you still have $10K. The $10K is just somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
And having an emergency fund.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people forget about that because they're like, oh, I got $10,000. It's like, no, like, I don't even know what percentage of that should be put away for emergency funds. Don't they say that you need to have like a quarter of your income in like saving or something? I forgot. There's like a percentage.
Ideally to have 6 months.
That's what it was.
If you lost your job, something went wrong, you could float yourself for at least 6 months.
Which we understand in this economy.
It's hard.
That's very difficult. A lot of people are like, girl, I can't even pay for this month. Relax,
I don't know, though,
you know?
Because I don't know if I agree with that. I literally watched a video recently where this guy goes up to people and says, how much money is in your bank account? And all these people are shopping. All these people are spending $500, $1,000 on shopping, and they have $1,000 in their bank account. And so this idea that, everything's too expensive. Yes, that is true. Everything is too expensive. But no one is forcing you to go to the mall and spending money that you don't have.
Mm-hmm. This episode is sponsored by Cozy Earth. So you guys, the holidays are gone. The chaos has settled. And the one thing I'm craving the most right now is just rest and recharging. And for me, that always starts at home. If better sleep, self-improvement, or just creating a calmer space is on your New Year's resolution list, Cozy Earth is the first step. I've been resetting my home with their new Baja bedding set. And you guys, it is stunning. It is their first fully matching set. The sheets and the duvet cover and the quilt, the coverlet are all inspired by the textures and colors of Baja California. It has this like really elegant resort inspired vibe. The fabric feels so premium. It literally makes my bedroom feel like a getaway. And after my night routine, I've been wrapping up in the Cozy Earth's Luxe bath towels. They're crafted from a blend of cotton, viscose, and bamboo using this innovative zero twist technology, which basically means they feel like a soft plush hug and they dry off super quickly. They look gorgeous in my bathroom too. So starting fresh in my home, it gently makes me feel more grounded, more rested, and ready to take on life. So Cozy Earth has delivered an amazing comfort that is on another level. It is quality that lasts, makes luxury a part of your everyday. And the best part, you guys can try it totally risk-free. You get 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. And trust me, you guys, once you feel this level of comfort, you're not sending it back. Start the new year off right and give your home the luxurious feel it deserves. Head to CozyEarth.com. Use my code HEALTHY for up to 20% off. It gets you that post-purchase survey. Make sure you mention you heard about it on Cozy Earth right here. Refresh your routines with comfort that makes every day feel like a new year.
So what about business-wise? Like, what are ways we're business owners. There's things that you guys probably don't even know that we invest in outside of social media. We have different business avenues of ways we're going down that people wouldn't even know. And so I think it's important to set a goal like financially, as far as what our goals are, how much money you want to try to make, but also what are some new things? Like for me personally, I know for you have some things, but like I would love to start a hat company. Mm-hmm. I wear hats every single day. I love it more than anything. I post about hats all the time on Instagram. And I've been thinking to myself, I'm like, why don't I just create a hat?
Right.
You know, and so I think there's certain things for you, like you promote companies and different things.
Absolutely.
I think there's some ways that you could start your own thing.
Yeah, I mean, we do have some things in the works that we're still praying through, but I have a product specifically that I would love to
You should
launch.
just say what it is. It doesn't really matter.
It's a tentative plan. We're still figuring it out, but I want to launch my own journals because I've talked about this, but I guess my journal isn't in here. I write in a new journal every single year. I've been journaling since I was 15 years old. I love journaling. It is just the most honest, raw moments with the Lord. And I really want to launch my own journal line. I want to relaunch a really cool merch line. You're tired, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Me too. Honestly, Duke woke us up at 4 a.m. last night. And so, yeah, I want to launch that. That's definitely one of my goals is to launch products again. I'm really proud of myself, though. I accomplished a couple of my goals last year. I completed my devotional. Cannot believe I did that with a baby.
That's freaking good.
That was in my goals, was to complete my devotional, and that's coming out next fall. And I put on there that I wanted to host some sort of Bible study for women, and I did that at the end of the year. But you know what? As long as I did it, I did it.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to do more of those this year. I think those are like more business goals, as like either that's a podcast event, more Bible studies with my followers, some mommy and me events I want to do.
Yeah. I think people listening, you might say, well, this is unrelatable because I'm a nurse, I do different things. I'm a W-2 employee. Obviously, we're self-employed. I'm in law school. But I think people who have 9-to-5 jobs, I think it's so important because I'm about to go back into the quote-unquote 9-to-5 world, most likely after law school. I have some things that I think as a lawyer that I want to start my own business potentially, but I will, to get experience, go find a job. And I think when you do that, when you are at a 9-to-5, it's so easy just to go, this is my life. And I go to work 9-to-5, I come home and I watch Netflix. But I know so many people that you can find so much fulfillment and also passion for what God has for you if you look at some side hustles.
Yeah.
You look at some things on the side.
Or some hobbies too.
Yeah, like it doesn't even maybe have to be financial, but I do think there's a lot of people out there who are in the 9-to-5 hustle that would say, honestly, I don't like being a nurse. I have this business idea that I want to start. It's like, man, when you come home from a 9-to-5, it's like, well, get to work. Do your 5 to 9 from your 9-to-5.
Yeah.
And instead of watching Netflix, work on that side hustle, work on that business.
Yeah, I was actually talking about this last year, and I think this is something that I feel like all of us should write down, is learning a new hobby or a skill this year. And one that I mentioned yesterday that I've been really like oddly interested in is flipping furniture. Because I see these videos on Instagram. I'm really, like I said, I love going to Salvation Army now and Goodwill and like seeing these little cool items. And sometimes they're just the ugliest colors. I feel like I could easily take that $20 little shelf home, sand it, repaint it, resell it, or just use it.
You should do that.
I really want to try. I'm going to get like some starter kits, get like a dumpy piece of furniture, just try it out. I feel like if I could at least do one successfully, I would be proud of myself.
Yeah, and you could film it. And those would be like cool videos too.
Yeah, and then I also want to do like an athletic goal. Like I want to join a pickleball league or something. Like I think that would be so fun. Like a women's pickleball league.
That would be cool.
I miss pickleball so much.
That's where law school sucks. I miss doing stuff like that.
But then here's the thing. I'm like, okay, what do I do with Duke during that time? It's like, is that like at Lifetime where he goes to the daycare and I can play? But do they have anything like that at Lifetime?
Yeah, for sure.
I got to look into that.
But hone in on that real quickly. You were talking about Hobbies. This we're still in the financial lane right now. But there's a lot of you out there that you've been wanting probably. A lot of people out there want to do Instagram. They want to do content. They want to make videos. How often do we sit down with people who want to do social media for a living?
And they're terrified.
That we tell them how to do it. We say, if you want to do it, this is how you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, they don't do it.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of times throughout my history of social media where I've had people call me and they're like, please give me all your best advice. I want to start social media. I don't know where to start. I spend hours on the phone. I'm giving them all my tips. This is what you're going to do. This is what I would recommend. They never do it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know.
You know what I tell people? The difference between you and them, like if you guys are listening right now and you have 500 followers, the only difference between Janine and you is that Janine hits share. And
which is scary sometimes.
If you're a person who's wanting to do content, you'll figure out the editing with time. You'll figure out the content with time. You'll figure out the audio. You'll figure out what works, what doesn't work. But the first thing you have to start doing is just hitting share. And that was, for me, I know for you, like, again, it helps me in a way because my wife does social media, but I had to start filming. I've always loved creating, and I looked at my life. For me, I like golf, I like hats, and I love law school, and I love my family. And so I just post about that. So ask yourself, you want to do social media, you have a business idea, you have some things you want to do. Well, take your hobbies, take the things that you like, and build a niche around that. And I think, but you have to start filming. You have to start creating.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so fun about social media is it opens up an entire world that you could have never imagined or dreamt of. And a lot of people live in fear, like, what will my high school friends think? What will my peers think? What will my parents think?
Bro,
whatever. Friends. And it's like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, they're going to make fun of you. They're going to say some things. I had people my entire life say things about me. High school friends who unfollowed me, friends who were like, don't. And people would straight up tell me, hey, I love you and I love you as a person, but like, I just can't follow you. Like, your content's just not for me. And I'm like, okay, ouch. But also, like, I don't care. Like, that's fine. My content is for someone else and it doesn't have to be for you. And so you just start it. Maybe start a whole new page where you can keep your personal life and then you can have a business page.
I disagree.
No, like, where if you want to be able to post your personal life and your friends follow that, but start a separate page of where you want to start like your branding page.
I disagree from the standpoint of there's people out there you've had an Instagram for 10 years and you have 2,000 followers on it. It's just like, that's your page. Like,
well, what if you want to what if you don't want all your old content on there, but you don't want to delete it? That's what I'm saying.
You have such a foundation of people who know you. You are starting from a place where you can just.
But I think with TikTok and Instagram Reels, like, you can blow up your page pretty fast if you make content that's curated.
You can, but it's helpful that you already have people who follow you who can be engaging with your stuff. And you're not starting from scratch. And we're talking about getting over what people think of you. So if you go hide on a different page.
No, but I'm just saying, what if you want to keep them separate? What if you want to have a page where it's just personal life?
It depends what the brand is. So like if you're starting a clothing brand and it's its own brand, then yes, like make a different page. But if you're just a girl who has 3,000 followers and you want to post get ready with me's or your makeup routine, it's like just do your page. But
yeah,
I say that to say like this world. But you have to do it from a place that's authentic. So for me, I'd never wanted to be the guy who was going to come on and act like this, influencer who, just married a person in social media. Now I'm going to give you guys all the advice. And, we do that on the podcast. But for me on Instagram, I just like talking about the things that I love. And it's golf and it's law school and it's grilling out. And those are the things I love. So it feels organic to me and it doesn't feel cringy. I'm sure it is cringy in some ways, but to me it's not. And it's so cool. Like today I have a call with a golf company, a golf hat company, like a dream brand that I would love to work with. And it's so cool because that has nothing to do with your world. So that's my advice to people out there. You if you want to build an online platform, for it to be sustainable, you have to do it around things that you actually love.
Yeah. Not you're just copying what someone that you want to be, but do what you authentically already love and do currently now. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. It's the year of taking risks, y'all.
100%. And people might say, okay, what do you know? It's like the one cool thing about being married to Janine, I've been on the back end because I'm basically the guy in the background of Janine's content who is
y'all would be surprised.
The logistics person.
Yeah.
And so I have to understand how Instagram is pivoting, how the editing works and how audio and different, just the intertwining things that people would never think about. And so that's why I feel like I'm starting to understand and I feel like I can give advice in this area.
Kaleb is honestly so creatively smart. Y'all would be surprised.
No, you have taught me everything.
We taught each other a lot though.
Yeah, I'll never forget when we sat down and you taught me how to edit. And what's been so cool about it is like I've been able to take what you've taught me and try to get even better. Yeah. And take that off your plate.
Yeah, that's so true.
We're getting off.
Okay, so personal business goals. I mean, I definitely have some more, but I really do need to sit a little bit longer and think about that.
Yeah.
But those are definitely some few. Like, I want to make sure we do like some sort of live podcast or show or something in the summer, maybe. I don't know. I think that'd be really fun.
Mine's I got to find an internship for law school.
Right.
Yeah.
What about travel this year? Because travel definitely diminished since you went to school.
Yeah.
But I want to still do maybe one international trip next year or this year. I guess it's 2026 this year.
I think we take one vacation this summer, probably 1 or 2, and go somewhere.
Yeah. But it's like, we have to take Duke with us and figure that out. You got to get Duke a passport.
I don't know. As I get older, international trips just hurt me.
I know. This is our biggest beef with each other.
Hurts my back. My stomach hurts.
I love them. I live for them. I dream of them. I'm like, where to next?
Yeah.
But
I'm probably like Janine's worst nightmare when it comes to like, this is why God, it's funny on who you marry. I don't think you ever thought you were going to marry somebody who wasn't the biggest.
Here's what I thought. Because the thing is, Kaleb, like, he had told me, like, yeah, I've been in Mexico and Australia and I love to travel. I
lived in Australia.
I know, but I thought Kaleb was like going to be this worldwide traveler with me. Oh, no.
Don't sound too disappointed.
He hates it.
I don't hate traveling.
But you don't
I love traveling.
He doesn't like to travel the way that I like to travel.
Yeah.
Like when we went to Europe, my sister and I, we went with my sister and her husband. The guys stuck together and then that's not a word. Stuck together. Vanya and I were like, let's go explore and see the whole city. And like, that's what I want to do is like, I want to see as much as I can. I want to explore. I want to literally live like a local if I'm traveling. You are definitely not necessarily. No, like you more.
I don't want to go to a museum.
I don't either, really.
Oh.
I want to just see the whole city. I want to meet locals. I want to go to the kind of hole in the wall places.
No, that's fine with me.
I want to like have them teach me some of the words and the languages. Like I just think, I don't know. But I want to travel next year again.
I get sick. I get motion sickness.
Yeah, your stomach is very sensitive on the food.
My stomach shuts down the first 2 days of travel. I get sick with the food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard on my body. I had knee surgery, and so my knees hurt when we travel. I'm getting old.
You're an old little fart.
But would you say you regret marrying me?
Absolutely not. No way.
You sure? Even though I don't like to travel as much?
Oh my gosh, absolutely not.
You sure you want to still be with me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do. I just want us to be able to travel internationally at least once or twice a year.
I think Florida has all there is to offer. Florida and Colorado.
This is the most American thing ever you've ever said.
Florida, Colorado, and California. What else do you need?
Americans, seriously, like, and obviously I'm American, but like my parents instilled travel in me because they love to travel. People in like Oklahoma, like their version of like international travel, they're like, let's go to Seaside every single summer. And I'm like,
that's not true.
Let's go somewhere else. Like, let's try somewhere else.
Well, Seaside has all that you need in life. Yeah, it looks like you're in Europe.
It's gorgeous, but I also am like, there's so much world to see. Let's see it.
Here's the problem with international travel.
Oh no.
Is you get on a plane, you waste 2 days. You're what do you call it? You're jet lagged for 2 days.
But that's kind of the thrill of it.
You're jet lagged for 2 days. You get into a sometimes non-air conditioning area, and then you go look at museums.
We're not looking at museums.
The beaches, like, I'm sorry guys, this is gonna sound horrible, but the beaches in Florida are better than any other beach that I've been to.
That's not okay. That's not debatable because I agree with you.
Like the sand?
It is debatable, but I agree with you.
If we're going to...
But who wants to see the same beach every single day?
If our purpose is to go to the beach, why would we not just go to the best beach?
It's because, why not go to the beach in France?
Because it has rocks everywhere.
No, but the other one didn't. Villefranche didn't.
Yeah, it did.
Anyway.
I'm turned into a homebody too.
Oh, we noticed.
But the thing is, when we dated, everything when I said I love to travel, and I lived in New York City, I lived in Australia, I lived in Florida for a little bit.
Yeah, I thought
I like living in places.
I thought you were like a travel guy.
No, I thought I was too.
And I traveled 1 to 2 times a month.
That was the thing. I thought I was a travel person.
Unsustainable.
Because here's the deal. With my family thinks I love to travel.
Oh,
because I do.
Because your family doesn't travel,
actually,
right?
I got beef with you. Janine, because you're making me someone I'm not. You're
me?
Yeah, you're a social media influencer.
Yes.
And your
travel's kind of part of the job, right?
Traveling. When I said I like to travel, I was kind of in a 9 to 5 where you got 30 days of PTO a year,
Right.
where I only got 2 vacations a year, 3 vacations, or 2 vacations a year because the other days were sick days. And you didn't have enough PTO to go to Europe and some of these places. And so
Right.
when we got married, like, and I had your travel schedule of opportunities everywhere, it just wore me down.
Yeah.
And so I do like to travel, but I think your version
That's
of
valid.
it wasn't necessarily like realistic.
It's not realistic. You're absolutely right. And it's
Yeah.
not totally relatable. And that's valid.
Thank
I'll give that
Hey.
to you. No, that's super valid.
Yeah, let's go.
No, I 100%. You're right. I didn't think about that for some reason.
I just thought of that.
Yeah.
So you gaslit me
No,
all these years.
I did not gaslight.
Gaslighter. Okay.
Anyway.
Last one, fitness.
Oh, fitness. That one's hard for me. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it was hard for me too. Because we went from marathon runners.
Oh my gosh. I worked out 5 times a week.
Yeah.
The best shape of my life before I was pregnant.
You
And
still-
now
you
I'm
still look
just
beautiful.
getting a little soft and I'm losing a lot of muscle.
Mhm. Wait, I didn't mean as in I agree.
Yeah, he's like, you flabby you flabby cakes.
I was trying to be empathetic.
No, that one's definitely interesting.
So what are we going to do about it?
Well, here's the thing. We thankfully do have daycare at the gym. Getting in that schedule is very difficult for some reason because it fills up really fast. But if we plan ahead, the main thing with life and goals is you have to plan ahead.
Mhm.
My biggest weakness, hate planning ahead. And I really got to work on that. I feel like I could go, well, some days it's difficult. I can't go every single day. But planning ahead, doing the daycare, going at least 3 times a week would be great. But I would like to try to do at least 5 times a week.
So I think we need to remove obstacles. So I
Yes.
think obviously we need our gym that we go to that has a daycare, but odds are you're probably only going to be able to make that 2 to 3 times a week. And so I think we need to have a home gym. On the days that we can't go to the gym, we have enough equipment at home in our garage where we can get a workout in.
We need to really work on that.
It is no excuses. 5 days a week, we have to work out. And that's just, that's the rule.
And I think something that especially postpartum and being a new mom, I definitely kind of started to make excuses where I'm like, I can't, Duke needs me, which he does. But now Duke is at the age where he's so good at playing by himself. Like I can put him on his play mat and he just thrives. I could totally get in a 30-minute, 40-minute workout while he plays.
Well, and our eating was really bad too.
Very bad.
I mean, we were so disciplined when we first got married.
Yeah.
But man, Janine,
we're bad.
I turned into a human being I don't even recognize.
And you know what? This was so...
We had ice cream last night.
Oh my gosh. This was so just like jarring for me as I was like the habits queen girl. Like I named my podcast Happy and Healthy for a reason because I was so big into health and fitness and routines and habits. And it was like this last year, it just went all out the window. And I like looked up and I was like, who am I? You know, so I like want to get back to that, but I can't get back to that because I have a new life now. I want to like refigure out what does that look like as Janine and a mom and a husband in law school in Oklahoma. Like, what does that look like?
Yeah, and how do we, because I'll be honest, I was looking at my camera roll the other day and I saw a photo of me from 2 years ago. And I was like, dang, I was in great shape. And so I don't want to do this only for vanity reasons.
Right.
But
long-term reasons.
I do want to feel healthier and I do want to feel more confident. And when I lay in bed, I don't want to just have this like glob of fat on my stomach that's peeling over. And that bothers me.
For me, it's super important more how I feel than necessarily how I look. Of course, obviously I want to like look toned and look strong. But I don't want to feel constantly lethargic and my skin looks tired and my hair is brittle because that's obviously your body telling you like, hey, I'm depleted somewhere. I need nutrition. That's what matters more to me. And here's my thing with the 75 medium soft, whatever we want to do. I don't know. Because we're about to start that. I think when this podcast comes out, it's already January. So we'll have started on January 1st. But I hate anything that feels unsustainable. That's why like we've been beefing about 75 hard. Because I don't like short-term effects. I want it to be something that I can maintain. It's sustainable. It's a lifestyle change. It's not just a short-term fix. I preach that. I believe that because...
I disagree.
But I think you can have a challenge. You can push yourself. But I also feel like then after those 75 days, I'm just going to go crazy.
Yeah. I don't disagree. But I disagree in the standpoint
That's what I'm saying.
If you have a 75-day challenge, you can develop training wheels. Now, if it's an elimination diet and it's unsustainable, that's one thing. But if you're able to build training wheels to where when you get off the challenge,
Yes.
you have better habits.
I agree with that. That's where like we have to make it a version that it's training wheels. It's not removing 20 things at once because that is unsustainable in my opinion. So that's where I think a lot of people, they never complete their goals because they do a drastic 180 turn and it's not sustainable, you know?
And I think we talked about this earlier in the podcast, but the 75 hard, our version, what we've agreed to right now is we're doing no sweets, no chips, no alcohol. So like no wine or, having an old fashioned, which we didn't do that often, but we definitely, if we went to dinner, we might grab a drink.
I didn't as frequent because I'm breastfeeding, but yeah.
And so no chips, no sweets, no bread other than Ezekiel
bread,
4-9 bread. And then I think that's it.
No, we want to do, instead of the 2 45-minute workouts, we're going to do 1 45-minute workout. It could be a walk, it could be weights, whatever you want to do. Just has to be 1 45-minute workout a day. The next thing I want to add in there is something faith-related because I want to make sure it's also hitting something spiritually. So I don't know what that looks like.
I think it's removing, that's why I think removing something like sweets is so important because when you're tempted, then you go to prayer,
Well, what I really want to get is that brick thing, the get bricked, you know what I'm talking about? It's like a social media blocker. You tap your phone and until you're so tired, my Lord. He keeps yawning. Whenever you need to get back on social media, you have to tap your phone again. But if you don't tap it and you're gone away from it, you cannot get in those apps. I think limiting screen time and having a day off social media once a week, just doesn't matter as long as it's once a week, would be really good.
That's cool.
Faith-wise.
Yeah.
Having a Sabbath once a week. I think it would be good to do that on a Sunday or Saturday, whatever. But doing an element of like, whether that's listening to the Bible every single day or something spiritually every single day, I think we should add in there.
Yeah, I agree. I think to kind of wrap this up, I think, so for fitness, of course, we have the 75 hard. I think eating healthier, I think removing the sweets, removing the occasional alcohol, I think will just help our sleep. It'll help our energy. And I think it'll make us feel more confident. And I don't want to look up. I think this is why it's really important. I don't want Duke to be 10 years old and his dad to just,
jiggle when he picks him up?
Just kind of be soft. And we go back to the olden days. We talk about the olden days a lot.
Guys, we're back.
We talk about the tribal days. And did you know back in the day that a man's and its tribe, if a man was muscular, or it was a sign of like self-defense for his family, his flock. And so when a man had burly shoulders and chest and a back, they oftentimes like that was a sign like, hey, I can protect my family. And I think we have to be, as men, I think we have to go back to our DNA as men and still have that same mindset of we are going to pick up the weights. We are going to be strong men. And I think there's something about, it's not for vanity, but there is something about lifting weights, I believe, as a man, because back in the day, like you are doing things, you're walking a mile with the animal over your shoulder. You're baling hay. Like we need to recreate these things as men
in the modern version.
Yeah, I think it's important. If you're a man who doesn't lift weights, I don't think it's because there's marathon runners. I maybe it's not always weights. I think it's doing something hard physically, and you will be a better man.
I think also for women too. I mean, lifting weights is just, it's been proven to have so many long-term benefits on your health. And so, and for you just to not have your bones, what's the word?
Brittle.
Yeah.
I think a lot of girls have a
misconception.
A flawed misconception with lifting weights that, if I lift weights, I'm going to be too burly.
I'm going to get bulky.
That's not true. It's like,
it's been proven.
If you eat a lot and you lift weights heavy, then maybe but like as a girl, you're not going to just develop massive muscles unless you are eating out the wazoo
and progressive overload, insanely,
Yeah.
Otherwise, everyone should be lifting weights. It's so good for you, just all around. It really is.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look at a 70-year-old who's been lifting weights for
7-year-old,
a
70-year-old.
Take a 70-year-old woman or man, and you compare a person who's been lifting weights for 30 years versus compare a person who's been sedentary.
Yeah.
I mean, the difference is astronomical.
Yeah, and your heart health as well.
100%.
I'm excited for this year. I'm really hopeful. I feel like I know what I'm doing more as a mom now. Still got to figure that out. Like, how do I balance being a mom and work and life and all these things? But I feel like I'm really excited. I feel like 2025 was so much trial and error. You and I were figuring out so much. I mean, you guys listened to the last episode of how crazy 2025 was. I feel like we know, you know how to do law school a lot more now. Like, you know more how to study well and be in the rhythm. I know how to be more of a mom. I mean, I feel like this year is going to be good.
Mommy?
Mamacita.
Mommy.
So I'm excited. But yeah, let us know your goals down below. What are some things that you're praying for, dreaming of, things that you want to cut and just be like, we're not doing that this year.
Stop talking to that dude.
Oh, tea.
That's what the next podcast needs to be.
Or a toxic friend.
That's what the next toxic or podcast needs to be, is what men we're going to avoid in 2026.
People in general,
and
maybe.
Women. You women out there, y'all be wilding. Y'all be breaking hearts, be getting your nails done every week. And I have a beef with nails, actually.
Oh, here we go again.
This is going to be canceled. We could maybe cut this out. But why do we need nails out to here? Like, why do we need 5 feet nails?
Oh, I'm not sure. Why does anybody? Yeah, you're right. How do you type with that?
If you're a girl and you got 5 feet nails.
Why?
I don't know why.
You're ridiculous.
It seems not practical.
It's definitely, how do you brush your hair? How do you put clothes on? I don't know. That just sounds painful if it breaks, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Even like me having this long, I can't handle it.
Go back into the olden days. You know.
Oh, we're done. Guys, it's been a great episode. We love y'all. Thank you for listening to our podcast.
No more 5 feet nails in 2026.
We'll see you guys.
Leave it alone.
Soon. Stay happy and healthy. Bye, guys.
See you guys.